I'm Ashton from EventChain for Investment Pitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Alex Daskalov, CEO of KNØX. Alex, thank you so much for being on the show. It's a pleasure to have you on today.
Yep, thanks so much, Ashton. Great to be here.
You're welcome. I'd love to hear a little bit about KNØX, but if you could start off with your background into how you got into the cryptocurrency and blockchain industry, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So I've been involved in software my whole life. Bitcoin itself, I started hearing chatter at some point in 2010. I remember kind of summer 2010 building Bitcoin D from source and really jumping off from there. I think I actually built the daemon before I read the white paper, but of course shortly thereafter read the white paper. Started reading some of the posts in the community and got more and more interested.
That's great. So you've an early adopter in the space, so to say, in this short time, even though we've only been around for about 10 years so far. I'm sure you've seen this space evolve into what it is today, now with a lot more institutional interest.
Yeah, that's right. Certainly, I mean, it is still a nascent time, but I have been waiting in earnest for institutions to come along, and certainly have been excited then for the past few years, sort of seeing some of the activity increasingly so, and I believe increasingly so in the near future as well.
That's great. And can you talk a little bit about KNØX's digital asset custody with comprehensive insurance, which sounds like some unique selling proposition of some sort? How are you guys changing the way people are investing in the space?
Yeah, that's right. So I believed for the longest time, that everyone ought to hold their own private keys and never delegate them to anybody else. So perhaps if you had asked me 5 years ago, I would have told you I'd never be doing something like running a custodial service. But I came to realize, of course, that in many cases there are mechanisms that can't be provided without somebody else holding on to someone else's keys. And so I came to believe there that comprehensive insurance would be critical. That if you're not going to hold on to your own private keys, that the full value of the assets ought to, at the least, be insured. And so what we offer is an insured custodial service where folks can get a dedicated allocation of insurance from our insurance tower. And so we really believe in exclusive allocation. So what happens is when we onboard a customer, we'll decide with that customer what percentage of their assets would they like fully insured, insured up to the full value of some number, oftentimes 100%. And then from there, what we do is we have our broker actually act as a trusted third party. So they'll go and create signed certificates attesting to the full weight of the insurance backing that particular account. As you can imagine, insurance, of course, is a complicated piece behind the scenes. And so we want to make sure that people understand exactly what's happening. Mm-hmm. And so one of our goals really with all of this is to say we should be as transparent as possible about the insurance policies that are in place and make those clear to the customers.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really interesting, Alex. And now, is this comprehensive insurance is a brand new thing for KNØX and for the industry? Are there many competitors doing this? And did you guys just release this?
Yeah, so we're just releasing this now. And as far as we can tell, really the status quo is to purchase some insurance policy. And then oftentimes firms will overrun their insurance policy by a substantial sum. So far as we've seen, we've not seen anybody offering the kind of insurance properties that we offer. And that's really, for us, a very important point for any investors coming in, that having this kind of comprehensive insurance should be an important question that anybody asks.
Definitely. Now, with these custodial services, a lot of new investors to the cryptocurrency space are hearing that there's hacks on exchanges and it's a dangerous place out there. So you need somebody to keep your private keys safe, and that's another debate that you had, whether to hold your own keys or have somebody else do it for you. But what kind of, or what level, so to say, of investors are really the target clients for the people who should be using custodial services with comprehensive insurance?
Yeah, so for us, really, our customer set is people who oftentimes you might be some portfolio manager. Obviously, your entire portfolio might not be on cryptocurrencies. I mean, in some cases it is. But regardless of the case, oftentimes people are looking for growth in some asset class. And they have seen tremendous growth in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and are telling themselves, I can't miss this boat. I need to enjoy the upside that's available here. At the same time, they read the media, they see what's happening, and they see people sort of often losing their shirts when it comes to thefts and losses related to the underlying holdings. And so our customer profile is quite straightforward. It's people who want that growth, and are willing to pay a small sum in order to have their downsides capped. To say I don't want to be susceptible to theft and loss risk, but I do want to see the growth otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And for those investors that they've bought some Bitcoin and now they're looking to trade possibly or rebalance their portfolio between other altcoins where it's Ethereum or smaller cap coins, or maybe they're looking to possibly stake coins, does having custodial services holding their private keys prohibit them from doing these things?
So I think as you see, the industry is growing such that a lot of us will be offering these sorts of services as well. We can make some announcements in the near future. Now, whether we do some of that staking directly or work with some partners to do so is another topic. But I believe that the ability to both, in some instances, have somebody else hold on to your coins, oftentimes, say with comprehensive insurance, will not get in the way of every other activity that you might wish to engage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And now some ETFs just recently launched for Bitcoin, and this is supposed to bring a lot more institutional interest. What would you say is the first thing that new investors and fiduciaries need to know about keeping their digital assets safe?
So yeah, I mean, I think it's important oftentimes for people who are purchasing other products to understand the custodial services backing these. So, just this week we're seeing the launch of Backed and some other services, and I think even there, it's quite critical that people understand how these, how their coins are being held behind the scenes.
Yeah, you got it. Now, with KNØX specifically, how are you guys making a sustainable business model? And are you taking a cut of the profits of coins or just simply managing fees? How does that work with KNØX?
Yeah, so our pricing model is quite straightforward. When we onboard a customer, one of the things we do is we help the customer kind of look at their business, understand their own margins, and oftentimes we'll try to align our own pricing model to fit theirs. So typically we charge a percentage of AUC fees, which is to say whatever you hold, some small percentage will be charged in fees. And we will vary that based on the extent to which they might want to be fully insured. So somebody might come in with $100 million of Bitcoin and say, I really need to have 100% of the full value of the assets insured. And so that they will come to pay that fee. Otherwise, we can reduce the fees based on kind of changing the amount to which the extent to which they're insured. And certainly going forward in the future, we're actively going to be trying to reduce fees by working with the insurance industry to lower premiums. To our knowledge, at the moment, our premiums are significantly lower than is typical, but we still think that there's quite a ways to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very competitive out there. And now with this new comprehensive insurance that you guys are offering, are you relying on that heavily as you continue to market to grow your customer base, to look for other institutional investors throughout North America?
Yeah, so certainly our initial customers are a guiding light as to the kind of people we'll be onboarding next. And there's this set of people who really believe that this level of insurance coverage is important for them.
Yeah, you got it. Now, with this release, what's next with the development of KNØX? Do you guys have other major things that you're planning before the end of the year or in the next 6 months?
Yes, we have quite a few products under development. So we're working with some select clients on some of these future products. In many cases, sort of much faster, say, withdrawals and this sort. And at the same time, for us, insurance is kind of a never-ending development. So much as a piece of software is never complete, an insurance program is really never complete. We're constantly looking to lower the price of premiums, increase the capacity limits that are available to us and the rest of the market, and just continue that way.
Yeah, whichever ways you can find to provide value.
That's right.
So as you continue to grow, what challenges or obstacles do you foresee KNØX may run into?
Yeah, so certainly for us, kind of the insurance industry as it stands is still quite nascent when it comes to insuring digital assets as a whole. And so that is something that we're constantly developing, as I mentioned. And so that is certainly a challenge as we grow, ensuring that we can maintain the coverage that we wish to maintain for each customer, and making sure that we're not having to turn people away from entering just because of sort of aggregate capacity limits or anything of the sort. That's certainly something that we're looking at. And then otherwise on the technical development side, there's always more products you can generate. So it's really just the story of active development of our software, hardware, and processes, as well as active development of the insurance industry to support them.
That's great. And are you guys looking for more developers, more investors, strategic partners, or majority customers?
So, I mean, as many companies like us, we're hiring all the time. So certainly always on the lookout for talented people to join the team. We're not ready to announce any specific plans for the next investment round, but certainly, if there are talented programmers or otherwise talented folks in any capacity, we would love for those folks to reach out to us as well as prospective customers.
That's great. And if those developers or other customers are looking to get a hold of KNØX and get a hold of you, what's the best way to get more information?
Yes, you can visit our website at KNØX.io. That's spelled with a 0x. As we said sort of at the beginning of the interview, just KNØX itself started as a bit of a programmer's joke, which is KNØX spelled with 0x, harkening to the hexadecimal literal. And you can email us at custody@knox.io for inquiries into custody, or otherwise info@knox for general information.
Great. I'll leave those links in the description box below. Thank you so much for your time, Alex. That's all the time that we have today for this interview. But let's follow up in the near future and follow the progression of KNØX.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, and great speaking to you, Ashton. So have a great day.